Today we're going to take a look at the Henrik Danhage limited edition signature Pro Mod SoCal Style 1 guitar. Hey guys! Alright, so my friend Marcos of the band Warwind, once again, my friend Marcos, was very gracious and he gave me this guitar so that I could make this video. Thanks a bunch, man. This guitar really rocks. So I really love playing this guitar. It plays really good and I actually got it to play better. But intonation right out the box, very good. A lot of things I really like about it. In fact, it reminds me a lot of my BC Rich Gunslinger that was my main guitar for almost 10 years before I got some other fancy newer ones. But there's something really nice about not having a finish on a guitar and just being able to connect with the wood of the instrument. I played this BC Rich for a decade and it's got all the grime and dirt and oils and sweat and maybe even some blood and some maybe not even my blood. I don't even know. You don't get that with a brand new guitar that's relic. So there's kind of a disconnect between the way it feels and the way it looks because you haven't gotten all that stuff up in it quite yet. It'll get there because it doesn't have all that finished stuff to keep it from getting all that stuff in there. It feels like it should have it and it looks like it should have it, but then it doesn't. If you go and you look at photos of this guitar on the internet and then you compare it against this particular guitar, you can see that it's not exact. You can find the discrepancies here and there. If I take a picture of this and I line it up against a guitar that's pictured on their website, you can see things that don't completely align. That tells me that somebody's putting a lot of work into this guitar. I'm trying to palm mute and I'm trying to get rid of the excessive string noise that I get with this guitar, but I just can't do it. It is muting all I can and I'm still getting noise out of things, so not that I wouldn't be able to change my technique playing this guitar, and maybe this guitar might be worth doing that, is just to note that none of my other guitars that I have, I can pick them up and I can play them and kind of mute the strings to a point where it sounds acceptable. I'm not the cleanest player, but at least I can get by most of the time. With this guitar, I found myself really trying to focus on not getting the string noise on leads, especially on leads. If you swing the bar this way and it hits the cable that's right here, you got this bar that's kind of, the bar, the cable, the knob, it's all kind of right in the same area and it's kind of in each other's way. Now if you choose the wrong cable, you're gonna have a bad time, right? Because that bar is just gonna knock into the cable, no good. That said, right betwixt all of that, you got this knob right here and it acts as your switch, your pickup switch, selector switch, And I know it says tone, but it's not a tone knob. Fooled you, haha. No, that's your volume, and this is the only knob on this guitar. And see, there's no switch. It is the switch. At first I thought, wow, that's weird. That couldn't possibly work. And then I played the guitar for about 5 minutes, and I thought, oh, this is so intuitive. It's amazing. Everything's just right here in one spot. It's perfect. And then I backtracked after playing this guitar for a couple weeks, and now I have to say that it's kind of a weird thing to get by on. You almost have to focus and make sure that you're writing guitar parts specifically for that feature, which I didn't do. It's not even a push-pull knob, it's a push knob. And it's got spring action, so you push it, comes up, push it again, goes down. What that does is it switches between bridge and neck. I wish I had the center toggle because I love both of these pickup combinations, and I wish there had been a center point there. But there's not. I didn't really think about how difficult it was going to be to play in front of a camera and make those pickup selections with that switch on the fly. Not only was I noisy, but I was having trouble with the pickup selector, meaning when I'd go to reach for it, unless you do a hit and press at the same time, you kind of got to give it one of these, you're going to roll down your volume. And I destroyed a lot of takes doing that.
Perfect.
The more electronics you have on a guitar, the more it changes the impedance. What that's going to do is kind of tear off your top end. If you have less electronics, you get to retain that top end, and you can choose where to taper that top end somewhere else in the chain. So that leads me to the pickups. I love these pickups. They're never muddy, they're never dull or anything like that. They're never shrilly, you never get that ice picky sound in the bridge. I guess you get a little bit in the neck, but only because you kind of want it with the single coil in the neck. You get the definition that happens, but it's not the terrible ice picky thing that happens in the amp sims that you can't get away from in the amp sims. You get kind of a nice, well balanced, it's a nice top end, it's not too low in the low ends, it's really good. And actually, if you go back and watch the section where I have a clean tone and I switch the pickups there, there's a huge volume dip when you go from the bridge to the neck. So if you're in a clean tone or something like that and you don't have a compression, or if you don't have a little bit of gain, you're going to lose a lot of volume when you go to the neck. I rather use this for leads in the neck, as they call it on HGTV. You get the charm and character, right? So you get a lot of charm and character out of the single coil. And what I found interesting about this guitar is that they chose the Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge, and then in the neck he chose a DiMarzio, a different brand altogether. The two work magically together. They sound really, really good together, and I feel like there's not many tones you're getting. You're getting one of two tones out of this guitar, but both of them are very usable. They sound really, really good. I would like a center toggle, but it works so well that I don't even care about a center toggle. This guitar sounds beautiful. Bolt-on neck with 22 frets, and it's got the graphite reinforcement inside of it. And now I have some friends in the guitar industry that tell me, no, Jess, you don't need the graphite reinforcement. It's not a big deal. I don't know what exactly it does to the tone. The same friend says, no, it's not good for the tone. If you live in a place that has climate changes, temperature changes rather, then you might want the graphite reinforcement, because it gets cold, things go like this, gets hot, things go like this. And also, it's got the jumbo frets. I like the jumbo frets. I wish they'd been super jumbo, just as long as they're not those tiny little guys. The tuners are Charvel tuners, but it's got a double locking Floyd Rose, so who cares what the tuners are, honestly. They could have put Grovers on it, but you know, they didn't need it. The strap locks would have been nice. You could upgrade those. 30 bucks, once again, no big deal. The Floyd Rose would have been nice if it was an original, but doesn't need to be. And because this is a limited edition guitar, I don't know how many they're going to make. I tried to find that answer, and I didn't see it on the internet anywhere. I wouldn't go around and modify this guitar at all. I would leave it as it is, because I think it's a really cool guitar that works really well for what it is already. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't mess with it at all. That's about all I got. Real nice guitar.